Hello, hope you've been enjoying the stories. Today's story is by Simon James and it's called Baby Brains. In the months before Baby Brains was born, Mrs. Brains was very busy. She read out loud every night to the baby inside her tummy. She played music and languages on headphones to her baby during the day. Mr. and Mrs. Brains wanted to make sure their baby was going to be very clever. They even turned up the television when the news came on. Mr. and Mrs. Brains were very excited when their baby was born. It was a boy. "Oh, very own Baby Brains," said Mr. Brains proudly. When they brought him home from the hospital, Mrs. Brains laid him down in his brand new cot. "Sleep tight, Baby Brains," she whispered. The next morning, Mrs. Brains was on her way to get breakfast when she heard some strange noises in the living room. Mrs. Brains opened the door to see her baby sitting on the sofa, reading the morning paper. By the afternoon, Baby Brains was helping mend the car. "You bright one here," said Mr. Brains. That evening, Baby Brains spoke his first words.
"I'd like to go to school tomorrow."
The next day, Baby Brains visited the local school. He sat down with the children and answered all the questions. The children were amazed. At the end of the afternoon, the teacher thanked Baby Brains. "I don't think I've ever learned so much in one day," she said. On the way home, Baby Brains said he wanted to go to university and study medicine. After just 2 weeks, Baby Brains began working as a doctor at the local hospital. He was very popular with all the staff and patients. Word soon spread about the extraordinary Baby Brains. Everyone wanted to meet him. One night, some space scientists phoned. They asked if Baby Brains would like to help with the next space mission. The following day, Mr. and Mrs. Brains and their baby traveled out to the Space Center. After training hard over the weekend, Baby Brains weighed
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Baby Brains looked up at the vast starlit sky above.
Tell us how you feel on this special occasion. We can't quite hear you. Could you repeat that?
I want my mommy.
"That's enough," Mrs. Brains yelled to the space controller. "Bring my baby home right now." Baby Brains was flown home as quickly as possible. He felt very embarrassed as he stepped down the hatch. But through the crowd of photographers and cameramen, Mrs. Brains came running. "Oh, beautiful little baby," she sighed as she lifted him high into the air. "Oh, brave little boy," said Mr. Brains. "Can we go home?" asked Baby Brains. At home, Mrs. Brains gave Baby Brains a warm bath, which made him feel a lot better. Mr. Brains tickled him, which made him laugh. And Mrs. Brains sang Baby Brains to sleep. Then they gently laid him down in his brand new cot. It was good to have the baby home again. "Our very own Baby Brains," whispered Mrs. Brains. From that day on, Baby Brains spent most of his time at home doing the things that babies do, except that is at weekends, when he still liked to help out at the local hospital. The end.